Welcome back to the Founder Files podcast, the ultimate behind-the-scenes look at building businesses, taking risks and making things happen. Today, Dave Christie and I are sitting down for a big check-in as two founders sharing our journey, the wins, the lessons and what's next. Since our last update, a lot has changed. We're putting a full leadership team in D&G. Greenbridge Distribution is up and running. T-Course students are in, and next week we're officially launching D&G Creator Connect, our new platform for independent creators. We've been busy as hell. So there's plenty to unpack, so let's dive in. We have been busy, so there's 6 of us now, including yourself. Our first team meeting or leadership team meeting, I think it was the 6th, was it?
It was.
ABP planning for the following 3 weeks, followed out by, what date are we now? The 17th.
17th.
So 2 weeks ago, the 4th, where we unpacked the business plan. I mean, it's a big year we've got ahead of us. It's
looking and shaping up to be quite an exciting one. I just love the diversity of what we've got going on at the moment and how it yet still segues into each other.
It's obscene. So for anyone watching, I'm fairly open about being honest about our figures. We pulled a 6-figure year in our first year within D&G with the arrival of Dave and the other 3. So we've got Dave, marketing director, a performance director, and then Georgia as social media director. So essentially, principally 2 acquisitions of businesses. So you bring TOG in, Evolve Your Socials enters. Business plan sees us at short, just shy of 7 figures this year if we get this right? And I think we're all pretty confident we could get there.
Yeah, I think we've gone through the numbers. They're robust. And I think that's the joy, is actually being able to strength test some of those numbers as well. Yeah. They're not just fancy numbers just to say on a podcast. No. They're actually strength tested and strength tested again and again.
Yeah, because both of us are diligent with that, aren't we? I think we talk through, I think the interesting thing we've got is the high level of experience that sits between us all, but diverse level of experience.
Yeah, and that's led to looking at where we need to focus first.
Yeah.
Where are the bigger wins? Where do we need to focus most of our time, rather than what we think we need to spend most of our time on?
Yeah.
So we've learned. We've done this, I said 1 or 2 times before between us. We've got some people in that haven't done it as well, so they've brought like a different factor in again that's challenged and enabled us to perhaps look at things from a different way.
Yep.
Which I love. I love that excitement of it.
It's you all over, mate, isn't it? So this is why I quite like working with you, and our skill sets are opposing, but you're probably tell everyone a bit more about the mentorship stuff. Let's go into, I suppose, on to what you're doing as a mentor. You're nearly C-suite qualified, would that be right in saying, to mentor, or are you already doing that?
No, so foundation degree qualified at the moment, so that's kind of like an ILM level 5. I'm halfway through the 7 at the moment, which is then the master's C-suite executive coaching and mentoring from there. So halfway through that. I spent most of the weekend writing through 15,000 words.
What does that look like?
It looks like the difference between like a 5 and a 7, as an example, is really critically analysing the benefits and the cons of different types of coaching and mentoring within an executive leadership team.
Okay.
So why would you bring a coach in? What would their benefits be? What could the potential risks to be to a business?
Yeah.
The differences between coaching and mentoring more of that long-term relationship building type thing, whereas coaching's more come in, help people understand a certain topic, a certain project, a certain skill set, and then move on. But also just looking at really critically and strategically analysing how the impact might work in many different ways. It's quite interesting. For me, the doing is really kind of my day-to-day is what I do. It's writing academically. As someone who's dyslexic, writing full stop is a struggle.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's where, luckily for me, I've got a great tutor set.
Right, I'm going to stop you this, because this is something close to my heart. If anyone's watching this, and I know we've got opposing views, and I think you're far more patient, forgiving, not optimistic, we're both optimistic, but what I refuse to do in this current landscape personally is hear all these people putting self-fulfill or they're putting their own barriers in place with the titles of ADHD, dyslexia. When I'm looking at someone I get to work with every day, someone with dyslexia, as do have I, clearly not letting it stop you. Like, you're high performing right now. You've got 4, 5, 6 ventures, interests. Openly admit doing it. I can sit here and it just makes my skin crawl, like even thinking about it, but it doesn't stop you. So I think there's something to take from that in any of our business owners, solopreneurs, anyone watching this, in a positive, trying to position this in a positive manner. Get rid of the labels, man. Acknowledge that you could have some difficulty doing something, but just treat it as a difficulty or a struggle. It doesn't stop you from doing it right, because it's not crippling to you.
It's been challenging for sure.
Agreed.
I see it as a superpower actually now, but
brilliant.
from another angle, I had no choice. My upbringing, the way that things have happened, if I didn't, I wouldn't be around.
Yep.
I wouldn't be here. I would be stacking the shelves of Tesco's, because that's the life that I had at the time. So some people are forced to deal with it and others aren't. And
so do we agree then, and this is a brilliant one, not to cut off, because I think there's to take out to this, I knew we'd get into a nice conversation with this. Is there such wrong as the forced bit now? Because I think I see around us in a macro perspective, the adversity is being seen, because let's call it adversity, because I think it's an optic way to look at finding stuff hard or putting yourself in a shitty position as a good thing.
I think adversity and challenge and failing is essential.
Yeah.
I also think that still, if you take the analogy of standing at the top of a diving board, at the 10-metre diving board.
Used to shit myself.
Exactly.
Still went.
Took a few times.
Yeah, the apprehension.
But we do that a lot, whether you're entering into business for the first time or wherever it is. There's always a stumbling block. There's always that what if. There's always that fear of failure. Because still, in the mainstream world, failure is seen as a negative. You go to America and they go, I failed my business. And they're like, okay, great, what are you going to do next?
What are you going to do next? What'd you learn?
Whereas if you come here and they fail, they go, you see, because you're normally living on fulfilling a dream or a purpose that somebody else wants. So it's easier to drag people down than pull them up. So the fear and the barrier is there. But also I think it's clear on what the goals are. So for me, the goal was to drive business because I had no choice. And different people do it for different reasons.
Why? We need probably to, because obviously we're here to drive value. Why didn't you have a choice without sharing, obviously, overstep?
Well, I lost my mum at 20. So that was kind of my parental guidance done.
Yep.
She'd been ill for quite some time beforehand. So someone had to pay the bills. So it was me or it was care.
Yep.
Well, I didn't care for that option.
Yep.
So there was no option for me. And I speak to a lot of clients through my coaching, and everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a reason why they've left corporate, or they've left, or they started their own business, or they're doing the project they're doing because they want to help or support, normally from a position of reason.
Yep.
And we're starting to see that more in mainstream telly. You go to X Factor, etc., and that kind of stuff now. Everyone's got a backstory. And it's a backstory that's almost...
They like it in brands, right?
More important. I watched 20 minutes of the new series of Apprentice. I can't watch anymore. It's turned into like a game show. It's unbelievable. And so, unfortunately, unrealistic because it doesn't represent the true value of entrepreneurs. Whereas I think they used to have some value to it. And now it's just entertainment a little bit. But actually, for everyone that's on that journey and anyone that's kind of listening and thinking around that one thing, and we've all got that one thing we're not doing, I've still got things that I'm still like, I'll get round to doing that. Try and write down all the lists of things that could possibly go wrong, and then really look at those and analyse them and think, actually, what's the worst that could happen? Like, what's the worst that could happen if I run a business and it fails and it goes under? Well, if you've got the tenacity to start a business, you've probably got the tenacity to do whatever it takes to get a job. So actually, you've already got the skill sets by the fact that you're even thinking about it.
You're super value even trying to be an entrepreneur. To your point, I think what you're saying there is that is the fallback is you'll easily get a job. Even if because you move to an entrepreneurship life. And I suppose that's a bit harsh, so it certainly will. But if you've had a go at it and you can then position the story in the right manner in front of an employer, I mean, I'd employ someone like that all day long.
But we live in a world of that amount of tension. So when you look at, I was with somebody at the weekend. I went to do a talk, and I saw somebody at the weekend, and they said, "Oh, Dave, I'd love to have your life. It looks fantastic. You're always doing this. You're always doing other." And I was like, "Okay." So ask me when I took my last full day off.
Yep.
And they're like, "Well, when?" Well, New Year's Day, and last year was only New Year's Day as well. So I do 7. Yeah, I balance it, and but I'm working, and I'm focused because I'm going towards my plan to 50, which, before you say it, I am a little bit nearer to this weekend. But
it was 50 this weekend.
47 this weekend. Thank you.
You're only 47, mate. I wouldn't put you a day older 50. 47.
Appreciate that.
Happy birthday. This episode is dedicated to Dave Christie on his 47th birthday. Yeah, he told me, actually, and this echoes your point, you'd got plans, you were going up the Lake District, and he didn't, so you just worked all day yesterday.
Well, we're going away the week after, so something came up for a client, and it was an opportunity to take the business forward another step, and
again.
But I've got the relationship and had the conversations around a very supportive partner who's actually coming into the business soon that also understands that plan because we've spoken about it. So I've removed barriers.
Right? That's your exit together at 50.
It's not an exit. I don't
do something.
I think
more.
The exit for me the exit for me isn't one. I think it's more of a sustainability. My plan to 50 is foot to the floor to 50. It's like that gym piece. I want to get to a point and then maintain. So I don't particularly want to grow much more after that. I want to just manage what I've got, to be able to take that step back, to be able to go, well, I can just go and take a couple of days off, or I don't have to have my foot to the floor because it's not sustainable for a longer period of time.
Agreed.
Plus, if you remind me, I'll be old at 50. And for those that are over 50, I don't agree with it completely at all. But
it's a complete number, mate. You're still keeping good health. Jokes aside, I think everyone within the business enjoys physical activity, getting out, staying mobile. So I think, yeah, especially with the way the world's going, finally got someone in. This can be trivial. Probably get loads of comments on this one now. We're introducing politics and Trump. But you got someone over in the US now who's empowered someone in the food industry to turn it upside down. I think and when you look, we spoke earlier about the Greenbridge, and we'll come on to that in a minute. It's ethos of eco-friendly, healthy. We're into that organic piece. I think I was watching a piece yesterday that talked about pasta. Italy, they're all thin. Pasta over here contributes to sort of weight gain or an unhealthy diet, and then you look at why, because of all the glyphosates they're all pumping on it, which is the GMO stuff, which we were told years ago. Was it 2 decades ago now? It's fine. It's not, because the only thing that lives in the field is the plant. Because everything else they've done, I think you were talking about like the pesticides. Farmers are wearing hazmat gear to put it on.
Yeah.
So I believe we are in a position where health and wellness off the back of COVID is more focused, or there's more of a laser focus on it, and I think the elite around the world, which if you still think the food industry is not controlled, you're definitely daft, and you need to wake up. And I think in the short term, you're going to start to realise it definitely is. The fact that cholesterol was demonised, 20, 30 years ago, is why I'm quite excited to be working with a business like Greenbridge with yourself in this space. We were all convinced to eat margarine. I think it's one molecule away from being plastic by definition. And fat, a normal fat butter, isn't it? Normal, everyday butter was demonised. Now we understand cholesterol is a building block of hormones. High cholesterol diets tend to fend off Alzheimer's. It's linked with living longer. I think there's studies done in Sweden that suggest this. So, yeah, health is important. You'll definitely live past 50, mate.
Thank you. That's good. I've got another 3 years then, so I better get to work, hadn't I?
I know. So Greenbridge, mate, I don't know. Well, you've been busy, or we've been busy as a team, but you've been leading on this. So what's Greenbridge? Where are we with it? What's it looking like?
Well, that kind of segments into what we were talking about, to be fair. I mean, Greenbridge, as we've kind of spoken on before, but for those that don't know, Greenbridge has been formulated initially through the Take on Goliath partnerships with some of the brands that we had. We were brand builders and supporting them, but nobody could buy them directly. Yep. They wanted to go individually to different places, and that's not how people buy. No. So we looked at the buying patterns of stores. We listened at the same time as well, and have created Greenbridge with yourself, as we said before, around having the facilities that we've got here, having the abilities to have that warehouse in the packing, and also the drive to build and grow a business. To what we thought was going to be initially, well, let's just put some TOG brands on a website and sell them directly, has grown arms and legs a little bit, which is fantastic. So now actually we've got quite a few brands on board. We've also got 2 or 3 phases of brands looking to proactively come to us as well.
Yep.
And put a range of products together that actually works for the retailer, not just works for themselves. The dust isn't a thing in our warehouse. Nope. With regards to products.
It smells fantastic as well.
It does with the range of products we've got, and we'll probably have touch on a few of them shortly. But I think it's making sure that the brands that go out don't just. We've all been there and got an account and put a brand in and gone high-fived each other and put something on LinkedIn and then moved on to the next thing. We're not moving on to, whilst we are looking at expanding, of course, it's not, but we don't leave those people behind. We support them. The brands that we bring on board have to be that sustainable, organic, vegan, something that's around that kind of wellness, health and wellness space with a bit of something special.
Yep. They're
not necessarily Me Too brands and products. They've all got something slightly different about them. And they've all promised to support the retailer. The independent stores, the retailers, to enable them to get training, to get support to sell them out, to raise awareness to their customers,
yep.
And also for those retailers to get awareness of their own stores, to help them, support them and train them to make better sales and their customers to make better choices.
Especially in the current climate, mate. I mean, you're very well known for the industry, obviously my background, made in at home, we share the same interest in that space. I mean, you're extremely passionate about supporting that independent business owner, and especially in the eco space. Yeah, I guess, what is it? The high street's hard, right? Shift to online.
There is a toughness of the high street. I don't think what's going on in April with regards to minimum wage and pension contributions and business rates. It just feels like we are stifling entrepreneurs. But I tell you what there's a real spirit that can't be broken.
To get amongst it, yeah.
And people are starting to diversify how they're engaging with their customer.
Which they need to.
I've just done a talk recently for independent health food stores around shop windows being for the customer you haven't got, rather than just putting in the window whatever the biggest brand sent you.
It's some big space, right? You've got to make that work for you.
If you think about how much a billboard would cost in the centre of town,
they've
got a shop window with people going through. But it's not just that. So it's around. We've talked around looking at who's walking past your store.
Yep.
So can you
Where
see?
Is it?
Do you see a load of mums walking through because they're dropping kids off? Do you see a load of business workers?
Yeah.
And then you can learn how to target them. So we're helping educate and support shop owners to further gather data and do something a little bit different with their business to attract a new customer.
And for those that don't know, who are the independent health store? What was it? Who are they? Or the Association of Independent Health Stores who you work with, isn't it?
So I work with the Health Stores UK, which is in part the Association of Health Food Stores, and they are an association that brings health stores together that does several things. One, it gives them special benefits, so they get support, they get mentoring, they get access to BIRA, which is the British Independent Retail Association's membership as well. So that gives them insurance on their building, it gives them some bits of HR and so on around it as well. It also gives them a community of other store owners so that we can learn and grow from each other at the same time. I guess
it's quite a close-knit community by the same. I mean, I've certainly noticed with just the soft launch of our socials, really, you can see the engagement that people talk about. You're always talking about, you were in Ireland, weren't you? And then just as we come into the new year, you've been on all sorts of store works. It's a very close community, is it? Or am I?
Yeah, it is very close because everyone's got that passion. And the underlying passion for helping and supporting people to have the right products, to have a level of wellness that people don't necessarily think that they are entitled to.
Yeah.
As in, everyone's got an ache or pain or there's something they now put up with, as you quite rightly say.
I wasn't going to say anything, mate.
I know, I'll say it before you say it. I don't know what age I started making noises when I got up, but I do now start making noises.
4 o'clock in the morning, I'd make all sorts of noises if I get up at 4. You get up at 4 every day, by the way, guys.
Hey, and when you've got a wife sleeping next to you, you make as little noises as possible to ensure.
But you're about 6'5". How you no noise get out of bed?
I'm like a ninja. Yeah, I've got it down to a fine art. I know the floorboards.
By the way, can I just say, but I got given these before we come on. This stuff I was a bit dubious with its colour, but it tastes fantastic.
Matcha is also fantastic because it's all the benefits. It's all that cognitive benefits. It actually helps with digestion as well. It aids with the focus, but no jitters because it's not caffeine.
Absolutely banging.
And also, this one's great for Matcha because it's actually got a Jamaican twist with it as well. So it's got the ginger for the Jamaican twist, which is delightful.
It's always good to have a bit of ginger.
They do a peach powder as well, which is also really great.
This is really good, mate. Really good. But sorry, we digressed.
So I'm coming back to that fact of those aches and pains, and actually that we put up with them, and you don't have to. So they're adamant to try and help and support communities. They're so integral to local communities as well. And then suddenly you realise I don't have to put up with that pain. You know, we're seeing lots of trends at the moment around gut, around sleep, around cognitive functions, and around women's health, menopause, perimenopause, and sort of that whole hormonal cycle that people have been putting up with things for a long period of time because society tells us that we should. Yeah. And it's prevention, it's cure. There's no cure. It's always prevention. Oh, we've got a headache, take this tablet. No, let's get to the underlying reason of why. Have you got an iron deficit? Is there something, what's actually...
Micronutrition, quite simply, or hormone imbalance. I mean, let's talk about this in gut health. I mean, 3 things where that's root cause... Well, that's like getting to the root cause of something and what they are. That's been supported and overshadowed by clever marketing pharmaceutical businesses that want to sell you a pill. The subsequent consequence, I must talk about this yesterday, which is why I'm quite passionate, has been... ADHD, autism. I mean, there's so many studies coming out right now. I think the recent one that I saw published was 300 school kids, 3 months, removed all high glycemic index carbohydrates, replaced them with some healthy fats, 73% reduction in anyone with ADHD in that group. You're like, wow. Give a kid a sweet. You know, with the Mrs. kids yesterday, we were eating some chili crisps. These things have got me sweating. So the eldest, he's brave and he's had it, and he only had a little bit. Christ, he's literally in bits. But you think their palates are far more sensitive. Their bodies are more responsive to ingredients, and yet we've got a food industry or a food pyramid that's definitely upside down. That's got the wrong things in it. female hormones, in fact, male hormones are disregarded. Testosterone use, HRT, the building blocks of hormones, right, is cholesterol, which that's been removed. And then poor diets through fast food. I do love a Mackie, can't lie. But as I've got older, and I'm only 41, 42 this year, you wouldn't think so, I know. Please don't write any shitty comments below. But I find now I get a little bit of an unhealthy belly off the back of a Mackey's, and you think, well, all these suddenly are linked to how we feel, and then you think, well, is this all linked to just we're not all sad, life's not all that bad on a macro scale? It's fundamentally caused and driven by consumption of food, lack of understanding about health and wellness. So I'm really excited to be in this space, mate. I think
it's that middle one that I think is where we play a little bit of a role, and the health stores and everybody else around that world does, is that lack of understanding.
Yeah.
It's not why it's anybody's fault, because it is people's fault, but actually from an education perspective individually, we've grown up on it. We've grown up on the adverts that tell us that McDonald's is great and Burger King and all Frosties. Of this, and Frosties.
Basically a bit of
Frosties. They're great.
They're great. That's what he says on the advert, isn't it? Am I the right one?
And tigers don't lie, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So I think that we've been conditioned
greatly, hugely, massively.
and we still are. And that conditioning and manipulation is so easy. We've had HFSS come in, the high fat salts and sugars piece. It's made no difference whatsoever. The middle aisles are now like a theatre in some of the major multiples. We've got health and wellness multiple chains pushing out products that they're hiding what's inside them, so they're calling out ingredients that are in there that are just at a level to say there's an ingredient, but not an efficacious level that actually does anything. How is a consumer supposed to know? They think they're doing the right thing by buying Warburton's protein bread.
Yep.
It's still bread.
Here's one thing, mate. The fact we have an organic space in a shop that fundamentally says, well, everything else isn't. And when did you need to start? I think there's one of the comedians does a bit on he's being very flippant and nonchalant in a comedic fashion about if a zebra's not looking at a hyena, a lion's not looking at a zebra going, oh, that one's not like gluten free or like it's meat, and the fact that a giraffe's not looking at a leaf going, oh, is it like this kind of version? And the fact that we've got food that has always been food that now has to have ingredients listed in it that no one can say. So we're not food. I just find it fascinating. But I suppose this leads me on to an interesting topic where we discussed is the Irish market, or the way you talked to me about consumption or consumer footfall, should we say, in this independent space. I mean, walk us through. I think, was it something like 6 stores, like indie health stores in like one small town, whereas here you're lucky if we've got one.
It is a different market in Ireland, and I was blown away. I've been out there several times now, and I'm blown away by just how much people engage with their health and how important it is.
Yeah.
So you think of the size of Ireland, they've got 4 times more health stores per capita than anywhere else in Europe.
Which is nuts.
And I went to Ennis, and they're in Ireland, lovely town, but it's a small town. There's 6 health food stores. Tunbridge Wells has got 120,000 people. It hasn't got any.
Got any at all.
And there are so many places within the United Kingdom that haven't.
Yeah.
And it's just that it is the educational side of it. It's people that are it's times are tough. So when value is perceived at cost, and actually, but what is the cost of value?
Yeah.
Then we're in a vicious cycle, because it's a race to the bottom, which is why some people are, especially when you look at the likes of TikTok are flying, because they're selling products out there and the people are thinking I'm taking something, but they're not.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in Ireland, I was out there a few weeks ago, and they had when the storms were on, didn't even know I was going to get out there. And I was like, the storms are gone. 500,000 people had no electricity. Probably about the same amount had no water. We were told not to go off the main roads because there were trees down everywhere. I don't think anybody didn't turn up to that conference. That's how important it was. It was important. The community, they're all on WhatsApp groups. They're talking with each other. I went to go and visit somewhere and do a store walkthrough with them, which is where I go through and show them how the customer would see their store from a different perspective, so they can see how they can change things up a little bit and make what they've already got there stronger. I drove back to the hotel. As I walked into the hotel, people were talking to me about the trip I'd just been on, because they were already talking about it and the benefits that it had, and they were sharing that experience together so that others could learn.
Yep.
It's fascinating.
And then you win together, right? And I think for this is us because we're now in this space, and I think hopefully we're going to get more people watching this. I'm not sure how much time you've spent in vending. I did an awful lot when I was at Monster, known as Monster Dave. I can hit a golf ball pretty far, and I played a lot of golf. Subsequently, why am I talking about this is it's the only place, other than when you've talked about, where you've got technically competitors go into the same conferences, so business owners all over the region. There was like an unwritten rule that kind of everyone knew their postcodes. You obviously got a couple of the big ones, nationals, and there was like some smaller sub-nationals. Broderick's for one, or Johnny Broderick, he's a rare character who's one like started to take vending and modernise it a little bit with some of the stuff he'd done at the airport in Manchester. But I guess until you started talking about this, I've never come across an industry that shares knowledge with. I want to talk about fellow business owners. And I think rather than seeing you as competitors, look at people in your space as fellow entrepreneurs or business owners, because you grow your category together, you get more consumption. You trying to fight on your own in something's a lose-lose battle, right? If we think about how at Monster we did, we've fought every year to grow the energy space. Everyone thought, you're going to compete with Red Bull. No, we're not. We're not going to compete with Red Bull. We can also try, but why in a soft drinks category that includes energy as a subcategory, don't we grow energy and steal loads of soft drink consumers, which is exactly what we did from Coke. Yeah. So I think this is a really exciting space for me to be with you. You're definitely an absolute guru in this space, but I think it's exciting.
I don't like the word guru.
I was waiting to pick me up on that. What we're saying, like knowledge boss. That just come out of nowhere.
I think it's a facilitator of knowledge. I think, I look at the Wise Up Wednesdays that I do through Cheshire Business Coaching. We just did one in Congleton last week. We had a whole room full of business owners there sharing their journey. This one wasn't specifically on LinkedIn, but sharing their journey, what works, what doesn't work. There's so many people that come to those events because they want to share.
Yep.
Because also I think there's solidarity, because I'm not alone. I'm not the only one thinking this. I'm not the only one dealing with this. That gives some comfort and some reassurance. And also then learning. And if I share what I've done, then someone else might share something with me. Yeah. And then I might learn something from them.
And you never stop learning, right?
You shouldn't. No. We do. People do. Because people decide. And I think that we live in a world...
Is that stop learning or stop asking questions?
I think a little bit of both. I think there's an element of, especially with the internet and what we've got at our attention now, is that I go, I know about a subject A, so I don't need to know anymore. And then of course, I will argue. It's that whole everyone's allowed an opinion, but they can't trump my facts. And I think people's opinion, people think their opinions do trump. And you're talking to somebody and they're talking back at you, and you're thinking, well, actually, how do I come at it from a different angle? This is my coaching head comes on and goes, I've got to say this in a different way so that I can bring them on the journey past where they currently are. Because if you're told something now, we tend to believe it.
Yeah.
And then we don't need to know loads and loads, but I know
take sound bites and interpret them wrong, right?
Absolutely.
Like you got some this morning, another contentious one, thinking what Trump's doing is like horrendous around the road, like Globe, because not saying he is, but right now we're looking at, and this is quite a nice sound bite to take out of this, regardless of what he's done, they found $1 trillion of corruption. He's cancelled income tax. It's like on a macro scale, nothing is more important in life, really, at some point when you've gotten on, is money. I'd rather be like unhappy with a roof over my head than not on the street. So that's kind of where my view looks at this. And I think it's to hear people, again, you take, and I try not to anymore because I used to be the worst for it, is hear a soundbite and think I'm going to zoom in on it or make an assumption. I certainly enjoy being around others where I'm like, I want to test this piece of knowledge I've been given. And if a person doesn't know more, I'm normally out. I can't really be bothered to speak to them. I'm joking, I'm flippant again, playful.
I'm literally looking over there.
Look,
the downside is I don't think we can ignore what Trump's done in totality. But there are some elements of business where he knows what he's talking about. The other stuff, however,
the jury's out on it, right? But
I don't know if the jury literally shouldn't have been out on him. But we'll segue past this.
Before we get back into it, a big shout out to this episode's sponsor, Yoku. Now, if you're a lazy cleaner, no shame if you are, we've all been there, you're going to love this. Yoku is new to the UK and shaking up how we clean. Using probiotics, they're swapping out harsh chemicals, which can't be bad for tiny, hard-working bacteria that do the cleaning for you. Just spray, walk away, and let the good bacteria handle the grime. It's eco-friendly, non-toxic, and actually keeps working long after you're done. Perfect for anyone who wants their home clean with zero effort, which, let's be honest, is definitely most of us. Go check them out at www.yoku.co.uk, because why scrub when science can do it for you? products. So to top the Greenbridge stuff off, we've got loads on the table. I want to talk about this one really, Yoku, just because we talked about the warehouse smelling nice. This is absolutely amazing. The
Packaging's all totally recycled, completely certified home compostable, so you can just put it into your compost. So very minimal impact on the outside world.
So what have we got in their range?
We have a range of multi-purpose sprays. You're holding the toilet bombs there. So there are 3-in-1 toilet bomb, multi-purpose sprays.
This is cool.
There's bathroom sprays, glass cleaners. Allergy sprays are fantastic. I've given them to...
Allergy sprays?
So, like, if you've got pet allergies or different kind of allergies from that description.
Oh my God, we need something for Amber.
You can spray them. People have used them and they literally can walk into rooms with dogs in that they couldn't before because they would have a reaction, or they'd have to take an antihistamine or something, and they don't have to do that now.
Love it.
And
what have we got? Laundry sheets?
Laundry sheets as well.
They should be huge, right?
So what I love about them, and the product up there, which is the multi-purpose spray, is the one that I like the most, because it is, they say it's for lazy cleaners. And it is, because the way that it works is that they're like a probiotic, like something is for your gut.
Yeah.
So if depending on the levels of what you know about like gut health, if you think about a Yakult, or through down to something that's got different probiotics and bacteria within them, if you think about how you spray your surface with like 99% kills everything.
Bleach, basically, isn't it?
You spray it, you wipe the surface, you've killed them all.
Yep.
The moment something touches it, it's dirty again.
Yep.
It doesn't continue to kill it, it's dirty again. Yeah, this works differently. Yoku works differently. So you can spray it onto the surface. It's basically spraying good bacteria on.
Yep.
That good bacteria eats the food the bad bacteria would eat to spread and starves it. So for up to 7 days, it keeps your surfaces clean.
So this is
and you don't have to like wipe it. You can just go done.
Done. Enzyme-based cleaning for
It's the future.
For lazy cleaners.
Street waffles. So for those that don't know what a street waffle is, out of Holland.
Amsterdam.
Does Holland still exist? Do we call it Holland?
It is. No,
now?
Is it?
It's the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, is it? Yes, our friends there.
The Dutch.
Yeah, it's a Dutch.
Round circular biscuits, 2 together, squashed with caramel in the middle. On its own, delightful. However, that's not how they're supposed to be done. You're supposed to eat them, put them on top of a coffee cup. That's just why they're a circle. The coffee melts through the caramel underneath and turns them into a nice little gooey...
Oh, because they don't split very well.
They do when you warm them up.
I'm doing it all wrong. Guys, get the brew on, mate.
So why are they different? Well, they're completely organic. So they have the whole range is completely organic. They're actually from America. So Dutch couple that went out to America, Chantel and Taco went out to America. Chantel actually uses a lot of the profits for what she does with the business to go out to Bali and help her non-profit charity restore the coral reef. So when we're talking about people that are sustainable and that they're doing their bit for the world and the planet,
shout out to those.
They absolutely are doing that. And they taste bloody good as well. Crazy. So completely organic. They've got they're vegan. They also have a gluten-free range as well. So for those of you that are gluten-free,
what flavours have you got
there? There's chai caramel, chocolate, general carrot. There's a normal caramel, and you have over there, I believe, the Dutch apple pie.
Oh my God,
they also come in some minis as well, and then little packs of 8.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Any other products?
Well, we've got Goody.
I do like this one. I've been using this now for a month.
How have you felt?
Oh, amazing. I'm not even joking. Was skeptical, but very, very good. I think.
I'm going to just drill on that a little bit, because other people might be as well. Why were you skeptical?
I just had to get myself, and I do this. We talk about it all the time. Just it's not that. In light of it being a single spoon full of a liquid in a day where I could potentially go and digest and eat a load of rubbish, was it really going to do that much to me? And I can tell you now, 100% it does. Less flare-ups, I guess. When to flare-ups, we talked about off camera before. If I have a McDonald's now, and I love a McDonald's, like my stomach's in bits, like really, I get a lot of pain. Never used to. I think obviously we all know our digestion, our gut biome degrades, I suppose, or reduces over time. I've not really had it with that, especially the last couple of weeks. I've got to put in a tablespoon. I think they say put a teaspoon, but I'll put it in my Lifelines electrolyte drink in the morning. It tastes great. I believe if you follow them, there's got all sorts of serving methods. But I mean, walk everyone through what's in it.
they're, again, going back to that kind of probiotics piece, they have 80 different active strains of probiotics sitting within them as well. So it's about gut health. It all comes down to what's living in your gut and that little ecosystem that works within there. And I won't go on for quite a while about that ecosystem of the gut. The microbiome is the official name for it. So you may have heard of it from different evidence, but for reality's sake, for layman's terms, it's gut health.
Yep.
So taking one of these each day actually starts to balance out your gut a little bit. So where you'll have flare-ups during the course of the day, during the course of the week, during the course of a month, depending on what you're doing or what cycle you're on or whatever it might be, this helps just to maintain and smooth out that balance.
Yeah.
So that your immunity will improve, your sleep will improve, your appetite will improve, and all round your body will improve just taking one of those shots a day. 100%. Me, I'm a neat shots guy. I don't drink anymore, so it's the nearest I get to taking a shot in the morning.
A treat.
So yeah, I don't set them on fire or anything.
Any
I haven't
salt
tried.
or lime? No.
No, they haven't got a lime flavour yet though. But I'll take the blackcurrant. But yeah, this is something that we should be taking a little bit more seriously about our gut health. I don't think people really understand that it is literally the centre of our health for people as well. And that's the joys that we get to talk about these type of brands. We help the stores do that and help the brands themselves engage with more of the consumer to help educate them so they can make better decisions.
Our TQual students have just come back.
Yeah, exciting, right?
That's cool. We've got 4.
How's it feel? Genuinely, I ask you this. I did an event last week with the Cheshire Warrington Partnership. So they work closely with all the universities and colleges and stuff in the Cheshire Warrington.
Yep.
They help get T-level placements, T-quals out there, apprenticeships, etc. as well. And there were two different types of people in the room. There were small business owners who didn't know that they could access this kind of asset. And let's face it, they are assets.
They are, without a shadow.
Young, hungry, energetic people looking to have their first step into the career ladder.
Yep.
And second of all, it was the people that had got involved that had just continued to get involved because not only did they see the value, let's face it, there's a little bit of a feel-good factor about helping somebody on their first step as well.
Tom's working with us now. Tom's got a full-time job with us. So probably to add some context to your question, feel good. I always like this. I'm a bit of a polarising character as I am in
No.
Yeah, it's done on purpose now. So I spent, those that don't me, spend a long time in the corporate world, military career, 10 years on from not knowing much when I left as a climb instructor, kayak instructor, plant operator mechanic, so I can fix and drive anything that moves. 3-year tour in Northern Ireland in the peace process as a Royal Engineer, so we can blow bridges up, clear minefields, pop booby traps in your house.
Remind me not to give you the keys to my house.
Yeah, never. Just put one behind the door hinge. It was great. So bricklay, all basic construction stuff. Nuclear, biological and warfare instructor. Didn't really like school. I've come out and gone, what do I really do? So within 10 years, been through from CG. Really, really lucky. In fact, I wasn't lucky. I just worked my absolute ass off and ended up getting a job at Monster. Corporate setting. Did really well, but I won't lie, as we had to work closely with Coke, I really got tired with playing a character that I wasn't really all the time, 24/7. So I really enjoy just being myself. That's why I've put myself in the position. And I've questioned sometimes whether that is, am I right to always be myself? Should we compromise a bit of ourselves to be in front of others? And I think there's some truth in it, but I've just been myself when we've been asked to go into the college. Started with doing some motivational speaking after winning Entrepreneur of the Year, and I've just got loads of me's coming here. Or not quite me's, they're probably not at the same extent, but a load of probably kids or young adults I should call them, that are looking to learn, probably feel a little bit out of the loop. I mean, they're at college, so they're not quite as daft as I was. But we had 11 last year. One of them's working here full time. Just taken on another 4. I think we probably got 6 or 7 to go. Had our second rounds of engaging with the students this year. I mean, the tech, all of the tech students put their hand up after we'd given our sort of motivational speech to come and work here. So, then they come here. We're pretty honest. We're pretty open. I make sure, no one's easily offended, because an entrepreneur, being around an entrepreneur like myself, I do get stressed. I'm a passionate, emotional, or outwardly emotional individual, which I need to, because if I let it bottle up, it's harmless. So, yeah, I mean, they've all landed. They're absolutely loving it. I've got to say, the 4 this year are way more gifted than last year. Their ability. And I think for me, the reward comes from, we sound like our parents now, probably. Oh, the youth of today are this, that and the other, and they're not really. These people that are coming in are very talented, very gifted. ambitious. So I take a lot from it, and they listen. And I think we've got a lot. Well, I've already proven it. We've got a lot here. You included in the we and us in this ecosystem that doesn't exist anywhere else. I don't think anywhere else you can come sit in an office and have access to people like ourselves. And we've got someone sitting out a shot who's a serial entrepreneur, just about to move a Saudi. We've got, what's between us all, 15 businesses across a huge variety of stuff. So, yeah, I find that really, really rewarding, mate. But, yeah, what about you?
Well, I'll just sort of delve a little bit. So T qualifications are something that students have to go through when they're at college.
Yep.
300 hours they have to do normally.
Good shout, actually, yeah.
Is what happens. So I just want to think about it from people listening that might be interested in taking this on and how they go about that.
The new apprenticeship, right?
Yeah, but it is different to an apprenticeship. So you can still get apprenticeships, and there is still funding available to support you on those journeys and pieces around them. And I know a lot more of this because I've just sat with the people that run it in Cheshire and Warrington. 300 hours that a student has to come in and do. They can do them in blocks. They might do them through half term. They can come in and do a day a week, a day a month.
Yep.
They have to complete it within 2 years, but it's 300 hours in essence, and you can get them to do different projects or work within the business as long as it kind of fits in with what they're doing as their coursework.
Yep.
There's a little bit of support from the colleges to report back on what they're doing,
Yep.
making sure that their progress is moving forward and they're developing at the rate that they need to as well. I think a lot of small businesses owners especially don't think that they can access these, and I didn't realise that there's a levy. Are you aware of this? I don't know if there is here. So in Cheshire and Warrington, there's a levy. So all big businesses pay into this levy to support the T-quals and apprenticeships. Not all of them take that levy, so they all have to pay in as part of the government-funded thing. Not everybody takes them, so some of them then are passed down to some of the smaller businesses to help fund people coming in. That might help with a computer or a desk or wherever it was, some training or whatever it might be.
Laptops.
Are
you talking about the same thing? So do you mean it's something to help pay for kit?
Yes.
Yeah, all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot simpler than you think. Now, there are pros and cons to it. Obviously,
I don't see there any cons. I can't see the cons.
Can be.
Go on.
I know people that have had people. You take somebody on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. They're not. The attitude stings, but I get
so not everybody is, but not everybody is the right person, the right fit. And at that age, you don't know what you're looking to do, and you shouldn't do really.
I've literally forgotten until you remember because we had such a good experience towards the end of last term and the start. But yeah, the first 4 we had were just a nightmare. They couldn't decide what they wanted. They were very entitled. The parents were a big problem, without a shadow of a doubt. So it did have its cons.
So sometimes you're going to find, but it's no different. I think when you think about it, it's no different to employing somebody. Sometimes you employ somebody and they don't turn out to be the right person.
Agreed.
And the same with this. But I think you're right, is that I feel that getting to the position that I am in business at the moment, and we're by no means like the finished article, we're still learning, we talked about lifelong learning earlier, is that we're able to offer this to people as a first step, because I wish I'd had it.
Oh, mate, yeah. Gaz talks a lot about it. He's got a 16-year-old. It's like, we just shortcutted my life by about 15 years. Do you know what I mean? It'd be very useful.
I think, I had just had somebody tell me when I left school, well, you'll amount to nothing. That was the parting words.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks. Appreciate that.
It's good fuel, though, isn't it? I was 16. I was in the army. I was in Northern Ireland at 18 in a war. But
so that's the joy. You know, you talked about independent businesses. For me, helping and supporting business owners, helping and supporting people, coaching, mentoring, etc. It all fits in.
The pros are huge for an independent business owner like us. Like for us, it's this resource, right? So at the moment, like these three are so gifted. They were into Georgia last week, cutting and editing reels. Like for the first time ever, I put this like onus and assumption, which we should never assume on young people, that they'd know this. Because if me at 41 can edit and cut and not social media likes, these young adults have grown up on it. But it's not all the case until last week. And I listened to three of them talking like, wow, they know as much as we do.
Or more.
Yeah, or more. Well, certainly Jahan is very gifted.
You're slightly different in that respect, is that we are very much in that tech world and tech space, so we can handle our own on social media and others. A lot of entrepreneurs can't, actually, and that's where having somebody coming into your business can add some real benefits as well. You're not just there just to go. They're not going to be a drain. A lot of people think, oh, how am I going to find the time to train them? And then they're not going to be. The reality is really simple, is that if you think about small projects, one, I love Loom.
Yeah.
if you're doing a project, just loom it, record it. It records you doing it, and then you can just literally give somebody as a project. So you start setting yourself up for success. So you're thinking about doing it. There are steps that you can put into play that minimise the impact that you'll have initially on the time and resource to train them, and allow somebody to come in and literally hit the ground, perhaps not running, but at least moving forward.
And they shouldn't be running, because if you think where we've got a lot of feedback. So we're trying to, you're part of this, we're trying to work with an entrepreneurs academy that we want to set up here as a team. But the biggest feedback we got from last year's cohort was real-time, genuine learning on projects that meant something. So they were just more engaged rather than that old school when we were being schooled. Susan goes to the cinema with this many mates, how many mates, and but it was in at the deep end. A real-life task, a safe space to fail. That's what we tried to provide here. Certainly, because I want them to fail. I want them to fail safely. I want them to feel comforted, not an anxiety around, I have to get this right, where we would have all been at some point there. It's not helpful.
And Susan's not going to the cinema, she can't afford it.
Yeah, there's a cost.
She's got a good business loan out to get
there's a cost, yeah.
I think for me, it all encapsulates, to kind of wrap that all together, for me, that is still that element of facilitating sharing of knowledge.
Yep.
Which is really all we're doing.
Yeah.
Whether it be sharing knowledge about why you should list a product, or why you should work with us, or what's going on with certain businesses, or sharing knowledge about different retailers or different people within business, and sharing the knowledge that we've learned along the way and continue to do so.
There's plenty of knowledge.
What are we doing now? Nothing but sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what this whole podcast series is all about.
It is. And hopefully, if it's, I mean, if you are watching this, because we're a relatively new podcast, please engage and leave some comments below. You'll get an answer from Dave or I, or both of us. We're both online quite readily. But
I'd also ask and just give us feedback on what to improve. We're always looking to improve as individuals and as podcasts.
Got any advice for me? Keep that to yourself, because I'm joking.
If other things, send it directly to me. I'll add it to the rest. But I think it is. We're trying to grow and learn, all of us together. So the more that we can do that, the better.
D&G Creative Connect, our own UGC agency. So
UGC, I'm gonna challenge you, because
acronyms.
Not everybody knows the acronyms.
No, go for it.
UGC,
user generated content. So we all know it's big. We have a regular demand for the big brands that we're working with to ask for people to do stuff for them. We've got a real need for product testers. A real need, and to date we're just finding people that can have the time, because it is a labour-inducive process. It's been difficult, so we've all wanted to do it for a while. It contributes heavily into the position or the success of what we're doing. It's directly linked. We have people asking. We all, obviously, if anyone doesn't know, we as a group own 4 or 5 other brands spanning health and wellness, toilet paper, and everything between.
Not just toilet paper, there is it.
I know. In fact, we better come on to that. So we'll come on to Mother Nature. Put a pin in that one then. That's a good shout. And we have content creators reaching out to ask us if we need support on those brands. So D&G Creative Connect is should be live in 2 weeks. It will be a place for creators to join, sign up.
It's just another option that we've got to help people on a journey.
Yep.
And that helps multiple people on the same journey.
Completely.
It's not a space that I dabble in too much myself. I normally do my own content creation and do a lot of stuff from there. But when I speak to brands, the one thing that they need is engagement.
Yep.
And you speak to the people that are starting out doing content creation, and what they need is a break. They need someone to give them that first opportunity. So taking those two things together, it made logical sense to build this out.
Completely. And we had tried. I think what we're asking for is, it's going to take a little bit of work, but we're up for it. So stay tuned for that. What would you describe Mother Nature as? It's an interesting one.
I think Mother Nature sits as a range of products that kind of sits in your day-to-day that allows mainstream consumers to make easier, conscious choices without compromising on quality.
Agreed. So PFA, chemical and glue-free products, either in pulp or bamboo.
Talk us through the range.
We've got it from earbuds. The earbuds are sick. I can't wait to get into. Right now, we've had a business we set up. We are currently acquiring another business, an existing business that struggled, failed, and we're looking to pick that up and support that customer base. But everything from earbuds, kitchen roll, napkins, facial tissues, bamboo straws, and we've got an MPD pipeline that's incredible that moves into some probably sanitary space, I think the brand. I'm going to be very biased. I love the branding. The branding's bang on, right?
You had quite a big part in that.
It's amazing. Yeah, we did. So there was a team, but yeah, I just think the name. We were quite lucky to get. Oh, lucky. Yeah, we've been very lucky to be gifted to get trademark.
I think we need to stop saying lucky.
Yeah,
I think we researched really hard on that and made sure that we understood basically from a retailer consumer perspective what worked, and also went out there. And sometimes people go, "Oh, that not be available." Well, let's just make sure. Let's test that,
because we did that. Yeah, you're right. And luck is there is nothing as luck, Dave. And you're right. I need to stop saying it. Luck is when hard work meets opportunity. And I sweated my arse off for 2 years in how naively thinking toilet roll is going to be easy, and it bloody isn't. But it's been a lesson. I think I'm really excited this week. We have a load of stuff going on that brings it back online. We've got a large VC investor that is very interested. Could see us securing our own facility to convert. Big ambition for all of us within the group that own bits of everything is the whole eco-friendly space. So to be a UK manufacturer in this space would be incredible. Got some opportunity in Germany. We verbally had agreement for a large high street retailer that's at the sharp end of health, wellness and eco-ness.
I believe eco-ness is a phrase.
You got that here. Put Dave Hamlet on Wikipedia in the thesaurus. As verbally committed to list the range, and it also fits into Greenbridge. So I think you've had some really good feedback, I believe, from
but that goes again. It's because we listened.
Yeah,
it's because people said, "Could you do?" We said, "Could we? Let's find out." And also before we just listened and said, "Could we?" We also decided if we also wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people react and then end up with a range of products that they didn't really want themselves because. Sometimes we hear people, I've done it before, I've watched businesses listen to buyers who said you need to do this or not do that, and people have been dictated to by them. And actually, not everybody's right all the time, everyone's got an opinion. But this had legs. We went out to a lot of different retailers and consumers, and I'm really excited about what's to come on this one, actually. I think it'll be, it was definitely pushing boundaries for sure.
Oh, big time. Other than that, I'm pretty out.
What's coming up?
Events and shows. You've got tons of them, right? What's your diary look like? Well, it's not good. Events and shows is probably the good one. NTH?
Yes, National Health Trade Summit coming up on the 16th of March in Manchester, a gathering of independent health food store owners and eclectic mix of challenger and established brands in that space.
Yep.
So that's kind of one of the events of the year, which is fantastic in Kimpton Clock Tower in Manchester.
Nice.
So we're doing a couple of talks there.
What are we doing there?
So I've got one round table that I'm doing with part of Health Stores UK. That we're talking about sharing of knowledge from store owners as well to try and create something around that. And then I'm doing one from Take on Goliath around social media, because whilst we talked earlier on about social media and being taught, actually the health food channel is still probably a little bit behind where we are at the moment. And so it's more hints and tips again about understanding where they are, what they can do to just have a better impact locally and regionally to bring more people into their stores as well.
Nice.
So that's the first.
So can anyone turn up?
So it is designed for health store owners or anybody within that health store space. So I had a couple of my friends that were PTs and were interested in wellness. Reality is really simple, is that the category welcomes anybody in, because anybody can shop from there. So there's a lot of brands you can talk to, a lot of stores you can find out about where your local store is.
Yep.
Health Stores UK will be there as an association guiding and supporting people along the way. So
and we'll put some links to these things in the bio. So Tom, when you're editing, mate, pop it in the
there will be in there, and there'll be some links to some of the talks and some of the education that's around it as well, if anyone's interested.
Good. Nope.
National Organic Products Europe Expo, which is in May. So that's in the middle of May. That one is exactly as it says. It's at the Excel Centre in London.
Yep.
2 days of talks, engagement through anybody, health and wellness, those natural organic products. Independence Day is the Monday, so that's when the
Will
day
Smith will be there.
Pardon?
No, not that one. Will Smith will be there.
No,
the film,
no.
Terrible banner.
That happened. Don't edit that, keep that in.
Keep that.
We all need to just take a moment. Independence Day is for independent stores, so it's more of an independent stores day. It's a plethora of brands, some smaller, some bigger, some more established brands that are in that space. Everything from supplementation to toiletries to shower gels to anything in between, anything that sits in that natural organic space, those brands and the forefront of what's happening will be there.
And what's our presence look like?
So we have a stand. So TOG and Greenbridge have a stand, so we'll be there for the full 2 days on the stand with some of our brands. We'll be taking there as well as engaging with some of the independent stores and retailers to talk to our customers face to face, which I think is really important, and also talk to some potential new partners, both stores and retailers at the same time as well.
Which there will be loads of by then.
There's normally 10,000 plus people that turn up to the event over a 2-day period. So we should be a very busy 2 days for us there as well.
And the last time we were down at Excel was with Mother Nature when we soft launched, right?
Yes, that would have been the last time.
Yeah. Good 2 days as well.
That was another 2 days. Good couple of clients in for Greenbridge at the same time there as well, which is nice. We're also on the main stage. I'm hosting another roundtable there with Health Stores UK. And then as Take on Goliath, I'm doing 2 separate talks there. One on the store walkthroughs that I spoke about before. And secondarily, another one on the shop window front and about being for the customer that you don't have yet.
Mint. What else? IFE. We'll be at IFE as well.
We'll be at IFE. So only for 1 day at the IFE. So we'll be going to the IFE.
I haven't actually got back to your voice note on that. I remember.
Oh, I know. I've cried myself to sleep every night since.
I knew you'd bring this up at some point.
And I believe you brought it up.
Yeah, I did.
So this year as well, we'll be at IFE. TOG's got space at the National Convenience Show, Food and Farm and Deli Expo in Birmingham in April as well.
That was good.
We'll be at Specialty Food. There will be at all the major trade shows across the course of the UK and some in Europe at the same time as well.
What's in Europe?
This year we've got Anuga that will be in Cologne. Anuga, which is in Germany, in Cologne. So that'll be at the...
What's it stand for?
Anuga there's no acronym. It's just called Anuga.
How is it? Is it a German name or...
I mean, insert your own story into that one. I haven't got it for you. But it's more of a European... Same as sort of Nopex, but actually more European based. So lots of different brands from across the world and the globe will be there within that and that food and drink space as well.
So we are busy. There's loads going on. This space is exciting. Before we close out, probably should talk about our expansions, European office and the US office. We've already got. So I'll start on the US stuff. We had a call last week. See, I spoke posh then as well.
Keep that up all the way through the segment.
Last week, mate, down in... with an old friend of mine who's based out in Ohio. So we were D&G's Amazon division, which is under the guidance of Gaz, is a rank rocket. So we've got a trial starting with a partner over in Ohio that sees us unlocking Amazon and also being a foothold into sampling. We've had some requests for a couple of the brands. PWR has been picked up by the leadership team of TRX, which is pretty impressive. There's some great stuff just appeared online the other day. So
they've got an event coming up, haven't they?
They have, yeah. So we will be at their summit. It's usually about September. Oh my God, I forgot as well, the Lifelines merger. Can we speak about this publicly, Stephen? You just said yes, so we're going to go on to that in a minute. But before we do, the European office.
Yes, with a lot of the brands partners that we've got, they're looking to expand over into Europe and beyond. We have already got second stage conversations going on with where we look to put that into either Germany, maybe into Ireland, we're just looking at where we're going to finalise those options there, and also working with the partner that's already in country and has those relationships across France, Germany, Spain, Italy, the Baltics, etc. as well. And obviously we've been doing a lot of work in Ireland at the moment as well, and we're out there monthly now to go and see some of our partners and partner stores that are out there as well. So lots of exciting stuff coming in there. The new passport is in and being used.
It's black now, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Go on with the little sticker in it. Oh no, we've lost the sticker, sorry, now, because it's not in the EU.
Yeah, we have to queue in the one where we've declared that no one likes us, and we have to queue and wait.
No military.
So yeah, really exciting times coming for the whole of that side.
Group's huge, doing really well. And I guess to finish, what else is there? Lifelines, yeah. So I was on a call last night. We don't stop. We've been looking at merging Lifelines, or I have on behalf of the team, or leading on it, and bringing in a gummies and vitamin range of a client and now definitely good friends. In fact, I sold his car for him on Sunday. So if you didn't agree,
Does he know?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah, he did. He messaged me in the morning about 8. Can you sell this? And Albania and Tony had bought it by like midday. So yeah, if you wanted it, if you like to buy and sell things, please follow me on Instagram. There's always something lovely to buy. A nice Audi. This was a 2-door, £11,000.
Back on track.
Went for 10. So we are merging with this business. So we've got. We were looking to expand into the gummies range and a vitamin range. We're working on that. We were looking to raise some equity for it. Or raise again by giving away some equity. We no longer have to do it. So these guys we've worked with for a while, absolutely love their energy. I've been honest about where I am with the brand. It's been a hard 3 years personally because I was doing it off the back of losing everything. Not sure if I could pay my mortgage and still build a business. It owes me a fair bit of money, but we all know this. We are in a position now where it's babysat and looked after by our agency. We've got the right people around the table to grow it. And for anyone watching this, there's probably some takeouts on this. We did have the conversation last night. People are worrying about having percentage of this and percentage of that. I'd much rather have a Jeff Bezos situation. What's he own? 16% of Amazon, and he's a billionaire. I mean, look, we're looking at extreme things, but I think the same with Elon Musk on one of the businesses is that ethos of stop holding on to stuff that's worth nothing, because you can stifle your growth. And it's clearly come out of like, we could go away and buy these and start to procure source. There's enough experience sitting between yourself and I and our friends that we know to formulate. You could at worst go and copy someone because the whole food industry is built on imitation. But we don't. I think for me, it's looking, I don't want to be that visible anymore. And I think the brand still needs someone that is a bit of a face. One of the guys, Abbas, is certainly that. Steve, just a great person to work with, a significantly big network, nice steady set of hands. They've done a great job in building their brand to where they are. So they still keep their brand, Genius Supplements. We're just going to move some of the other stuff over into the Lifelines business. And they take an equity stake and become a really active member of our new business.
What I like about that is twofold, actually. I really love the brand already. We'd already spoken about that. The moment it came into here, I had my eye on it because I thought it was a really good look and feel. For me, just to make it a little bit more relevant than Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, for those that may be a slightly smaller business out there as well, I don't think there's anything that beats collaborating with the right people.
Agreed.
You cannot do anything alone. So actually, whilst you're talking about percentages of different types, I actually think it's about growing the businesses as more of a team.
Agreed.
And bringing people in that can add value where you can't. So you bring your strengths together and grow forward.
Yep.
I'd rather have a smaller percentage of something as a team that we grew together as well, because let's face it, being an entrepreneur can be lonely at times and difficult. So having peers around you that are helping and driving you forward is also important. But actually, what's the point in being lonely and having all that on your own? I think
Solopreneur to entrepreneur, mate, I think is a really good description.
Absolutely.
And you're right, I would much rather sit here and nostalgic with 10 of us, old and bold, and sitting around a table somewhere, playing dominoes or whatever we'll be doing, reflecting on a past of...
Old and bold?
I'm not old either, I'm just bold. We're both bold. Mind you, I'm bolder than you are, but you're older than I am. So old and bold.
But I wasn't the one in the warehouse shaving my head before I came on here and put a cap on.
I look like Friar Tuck, by the way. Camera.
But no, I think that's that whole thing. I always say there's somebody out there that's got what you want. So if you need a bigger audience, there's someone else that's got there. How do you collaborate with them? If you want to extend your range, someone out there's got something. How do you collaborate with them? It's much easier and quicker to establish those really key collaborative partnerships and grow faster together than it is trying to sit there on your own and be stubborn.
It's my 5th time doing this. So I've to echo your point, probably used an extreme analogy, but 5th time I've demonstrated well. Zoom did it, worth 10 million quid. Just done it with D&G. We're worth more than 7 figures as a group, easy. I would have done them on my own. God, hell, I couldn't, not a chance. I've got people around me that have got stuff that I could never dream of doing or got the inclination to do. So there's no better demonstration. And I also think it's great to have people holding you account. You can I could shoot off on my own little rabbit hole quite easily.
Hey, not even just holding your account, sometimes just holding your hand.
Yeah, which we all love. But you're right, there's so much benefit to it. But I think you can get stuck up in yourself. I think I shared something yesterday as well. And Ross Carlin certainly wrote back and appreciated from the Good Food Group. But it was about, Chris Williamson talked about it. The syndrome of someone having such high standards and values that define success, that success becomes normal and there's nothing beyond it. So you then just relentlessly unhappy for the rest of your life. And I think it's that bit of, if your barrier standards are consistently high, no one can you won't, by default, as no one can live or be around you that's going to find enjoyment in it. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of unhappiness, right?
Don't let perfection be the enemy of the good.
100%. Look, Chris Williamson, you look out, mate. You've got Dave and Dave on the way here with these things.
I'm sure he's quaking.
Yeah. But that's it. I guess, look, I'm exhausted by my own...
We all are.
Our own.
I didn't know what else you were going to say, but I just agree. We all are.
But yeah, mate. Look, it's always good to catch up with you. Have we missed anything? It's probably the thing for you.
Look, I think we have. I think there's lots of that's the enjoyment, though, right?
Yep.
That we've covered what we've covered. There, we could do this all day.
Easy.
We'll do it every week.
Yep.
One of us will be here in some guise or other, trying to share our journey to inspire people and hopefully share some knowledge that helps people on whatever journey they're on.
And that's a wrap on today's Finder Files. If you've enjoyed the chat, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share with your fellow founders. Because let's be honest, we all need a bit of real talk in this game. We want to hear from you. Drop us a comment below. Tell us what you resonated with, what more you want from us. Just let us know you're out there hustling too. Until the next time, keep building, keep pushing, and keep proving them wrong. See you in the next one.